Hello, good morning, students. So, already we have to study about the materials, definitions, classification, and property. Now, classification. Now, and we have to study about the application. Now, we study about the properties of a materials. Here, we have to start with the presentation of mechanical properties of a materials. There are the different types of the properties are available. It may be a physical property, it may be a chemical properties, it may be a mechanical properties, it may be a dimension type properties. So it may be thermal types of the property, but here our main function that we have to study about mechanical properties. These properties are very important in our study throughout the 8th semester. At different places it may be used. So once you have to completely getting the idea about these properties, then it may be asked at the number of places. So you must be sure about the all definition of mechanical properties. Okay. Now introductory part, that the practical application of engineering materials in manufacturing engineering depends upon through knowledge of their particular properties. Okay, it means what are the practical application of the materials in manufacturing field. It maybe depends on the their knowledge and their particular property under a wide range of condition. It means at the different condition there may be change in the properties. It may be different. For example, when we have to apply a load, at that time there may be a change in the shape of the material. When we have to apply a pressure, at that time there may be change. When we have to apply a temperature, at that time there may be change. So at the there is a mainly requirement of the knowledge of the particular properties under a wide range of the conditions. Second point, the term property is a qualitative or quantitative measure of response of material. Okay, the term property, that is nothing but a qualitative or quantitative measure the response of material to externally imposed condition like force and temperature. Here it is clear that which kind of the response it may be measured by a material. It may be qualitative or it may be quantitative, but that response it may be measured in the condition of force, temperature, etc., different conditions. Okay, however the range of the properties found in the different classes of the material is very large. So there are the different class of the material and the range it may be very larger ones. So as per that, here there are the classification of material properties given. That material property it may be classified in this different manner. It may be chemical over here given, it may be physical, it may be mechanical, it may be dimensions, or one it may be remaining over here, that is nothing but thermal properties. So chemical properties we have to mainly focus on which one, on the mechanical properties. So you have to focus on the mechanical properties, but it may be necessary to know about the which are the name of the properties. Okay, so here first on chemical properties, that compositions, compound, acidity, alkalinity, weathering, corrosions. Okay, these all are the properties. It may be include the chemical properties. Same way there are the physical properties, that are the density, conductivity, then acoustic, or that is on the basis of the sound, optical transmissions or absorptions, then combustibility. Okay, so same way over here the dimension, that size and shapes. Okay, so size, shape, color it may be considered inside of the dimensional, but another one that is a remaining that not given over here, that is a thermal properties. The thermal properties, that is a specific heat, that melting point, then thermal conductivity, then thermal diffusivity, then thermal expansions, then thermal effect and thermal shock. These all are the thermal properties that is not explained over here. And last one, that is our mechanical properties. So mechanical properties that given over here, that strength, stiffness, elasticity, plasticity, ductility, brittleness, hardness, that not given, that fatigue, creep, malleability, toughness, etc., etc., that all we have to study in these sessions. So now we are focusing on the mechanical properties. Mechanical properties. The properties of the material that determine its behavior under applied force are known as the mechanical properties. Okay, the point is given the properties of the material that determine its behavior under the applied forces. When we have to apply any kind of the forces, at that time uh, there may be some kind of the changes in the material, that behavior changes, that is a mechanical property. When we have to find out under the application of the force that given over here. Okay, so they are usually related to elastic and plastic behavior of a material. So all of you know that simple elastic and plastic behavior of the material. Because of the application of the force, there may be simple that we have to know, there may be elastic or plastic behavior that we have to study. The properties are expressed as function of the stress, strain, etc. All the properties regarding the mechanical, they are expressed in the function of a stress or strain, etc. So they are maybe expressed in the function of this one. So what do you mean by stress and strain? That is also necessary part to understand. A sound knowledge of mechanical properties of material provides a basis predicting the behavior of materials under the different load condition and designing the components out of them. Okay, so there is a part that given over here. When the knowledge of the property, it is important for which purpose? When we have to design any component, at that time different kind of the load or forces are applied over the material, and which kind of the behavior mechanical properties behavior changes, that is very important. So for that purpose, it is necessary to study about the mechanical property. So starting with the stress and strain, that is also part of the mechanical properties. So experience shows that any material subjected to load may either deform, yield or break, or depending upon the, okay, that we know that when we have to apply a load on a material, it may be deformed. It means the shape of the material, it may be changed, it may be yield or break, it may be break, it may be divided into two parts. That depending upon the three conditions, the magnitude of the load, it means how many magnitude of the load, it may be kg, it may be tons. Okay, the nature of the material, which type of the material, it may be ductile material or it may be elastic materials, or it may be brittle materials. If it is a ductile material, then it may be expand. If it is a brittle material, then it may be a break. The cross sectional times, cross sectional area, or it may be time given over here, that is dependent on the materials. Now we have to start with the stress, that part continue over here. The summation of total of all elementary interatomic forces, all the elementary interatomic forces or internal resistance which the material is called upon to exert to counteract the applied load is called the stress. So once again I have to explain simple definition that is given over here, that mathematically the stress is explained as force divided by cross sectional area. Okay, that definition is given in the terms of the equation over here. Stress is simply what? Force upon a cross sectional area. It means above definition that indicate the sum of the total of all elementary interatomic forces. So it means material have a different atomic forces, which in the, or it may be given that internal resistance. So material provide the internal resistance to apply the load, whatever load is applied. So that is nothing but load is applied on the material, and on the material it may be have some kind of the cross sectional area. On the basis of that, simple mathematical definition is derived over here. The stress is equal to force divided by a cross sectional area. Okay, so here the stress, it may be different types of the stress. It may be tensile stress or it may be a compressive stress. In the tensile stress, we have to pull the forces outward direction, while in the compressive stress we have to push this load inward direction. Okay, so stress and strain, we have to study about the stress, that is a, it may be in the terms of tensile stress or compressive stress. Okay, now strains. So strain, that is also one of the very simple definitions. So strain is dimensional response given by a material against the mechanical loading or deformation produced per unit length. When strain is nothing but a dimensional response, which kind of the change in the material in the terms of the dimension. It may be, we can say that, for example, the material cross section have a, it may be lbh, length, width or height, but we have to consider simple a length. Oh, okay, not we have to consider a thickness. Okay, so when we have to apply a load, that in the figure also there is a given, when we have to apply a load, then what happen? First, there is a L, definition yellow color, that may be smaller size, and nearby it yellow color, it may be a larger size. So what happens? And also you can say the two arrow that indicate upward, first one that is a upward direction and lower one that is a lower, it may be pull, it is nothing but a pull a material from the outward directions. So what happens? Actual length, it may be changed delta L. So because of the load, there may be dimensional changes. Whatever the dimension, it may be very smaller one, but change in the dimensions. So mathematically, strain is change in length divided by a original length. So it is equation, it may be remember always, that is nothing but delta L upon a L. Delta L, that is nothing but a change in the length, while the L, that is a actual length. So strain, it may be in the two terms, the tensile strain and compressive strains. So tensile strain, it may be pull the outward direction, while in compressive strain we have to push the material in a inward direction. Clear? This is the strength. Now strength, that you can see in the figures. The two simple example is given over here. Very simple example. One of the pen and one of the two person, they are pull the board. Okay, that is dependent on the strength. That you can see, that is a blue t-shirt person, that you can see in a blue t-shirt person, it may be somewhat heavy, while the white t-shirt person, it may be somewhat lower in weight. So another thing that you can identify over here, one it may be higher side or one it may be lower side. So what the strength that actually that we have to study. Okay, this is the nice example that you have for the understanding. So strength of a material is its capacity to withstand destruction under the action of external load. So what do you mean by strength? It's a capacity of the material to withstand the destruction. Destruction, it may be a destroy, it may be a breaking condition, we can say that, under the action of external load. So you can see the example of the ball pen, that is a hold by a person in his hand. So person want to break it, so it may be given the somewhat little force, otherwise it may be easily break. So that indicate the strength of the material or its capacity under to withstand the destruction under the action of external load. It determines the ability of the material to withstand stress without failure. Okay, it is also true, to withstand stress without failure. If it is a failure, then it may be not a good strength of the particular materials. Stress, that is a force upon cross sectional area. Okay, so it also indicate ability of the material to withstand stress without a failure. So another point is given over here, that the maximum stress that any material will withstand before destruction is called ultimate strength. Okay, this point is very important. What do you mean by ultimate strength? Okay, whenever you give the example, you see the number of movies, number of times. So when a person tries to move in a movie, that from one bridge to from one place to the another place, or by crossing a bridge, so you can see the movies, there is a traditional way when the hero or heroine moves, that rope, it may be breaks. So why rope it may be breaks? Because of the load. It may be that you can identify rope have a number of bands. It may be easily one by bands are removing, and after last bands which are removed at the end, that is nothing but that indicates a ultimate strength. Up to that strength, that rope, we can say that is a rope sustain the load without destruction. But at the end, when it destruct, that we can say it is a completely break. Okay, this is clear or not? That you can reply me in the comment. Okay, so maximum stress that any material will withstand before destruction called ultimate strength. Okay, next after this one, elasticity. So this is the figure, there are the number of figure is given over here. So in the figure there are the bounds to stretch, return to initial. So this is the very simple part, but all of this is for the understanding purpose, and that all of you know that elasticity, what do you mean by elasticity? The property of the material by virtue of which deformation caused by applied load disappears upon removal of load. Okay, so it is a simple thing is given, when the we can apply the load, material it may be deformed, but when we have to take the load, or we can say that disappear of the load, at the time what happens, the material are its in original positions. So this is the given over there, in a middle point. First figure, the three figure is given. Middle one, that is a red one, more red, and first and third one, that is a browning. Okay, so in the first condition, initial condition, that is the given. In the second condition that you have to identify, there the force is given in the downward directions. So what happens, it is simply that in the red portion there are the small white cross section part is also given, and all the bounds that you can see that there are the space, it may be increasing in compared to a first one. So what happens, it may be a deform, it may be says, while in the last condition when F is removed, it's read its original positions. It is clear or not? So it is once again a very simple definition that given over here. Elasticity of a material is the power of coming back to its original position after deformation when the stress or load is removed. Clear? This is the simple condition is given. The elasticity is, it is nothing but a power of coming back to its original position after a removal of load. Okay. So plasticity. The plasticity of a material is its ability to undergo some degree of permanent deformation without rupture or failures. So that is a elasticity. Now that is a plasticity. Plasticity is, it is nothing but simple point is given, the permanent deformation without rupture or failure. When we have to given a load, at that time material may be deformed, it means its dimension are changed in compared to a first one. So that change, that is nothing but a permanent deformation without rupture or failure. Clear? So when we have to remove a load in a plastic condition, but it may be a whatever the deformation are done are as it is as per its condition. Okay, so plastic deformation will take only after the elastic limit is exceeded. So when plastic limit is considered, that point is given over here, then when we have to cross the elastic limit, so up to the some limit, whenever we have to given a load to a component or material, it may be a elastic, but after exiting that limit, or after exiting that limit, it means we have to given a more load. At the time what happens, material cross the limit of elasticity, and it may be a reach to a plastic condition, and there may be nothing but a change, or we can say that a deformation takes place. That deformation is the permanent deformations, or that is nothing without rupture or failure. So at that time there is a no failure, but deformation are there. There may be change of the shape of a material. Okay, it increase with increase in the temperature. Always remember that three figure is once again given over here, that first, second and last one. In the first, that you can see that in the last same figure, first brownie, red and brownie, that the ball it may be brownie, red or brownie. That you can see the one condition over that in a brownie bar, there may be square hole is given in the last figure also, or in this figure also square bar is given, that you can see square, then rectangular and square. Okay, so every time there may be when load it may be given, that is simply it gives the idea about that square it may becomes a rectangular. At the end, that you can identify in the last road there may be a somewhat, it may be decreasing the dimension compared to a second one. Okay, and also you can say there may, you can see that there may be a change in the gaps of the balls. So ball is nothing but it gives the cross sectional area of that particular square or rectangular in the we can easily understand for that purpose only. Okay, so this is a very good understanding of a plasticity. Now a stiffness. What do you mean by a stiffness? It is also very important definitions. The resistance of a material to elastic deformation or deflection is called the stiffness or rigidity. Simple point is given: resistance of a material to elastic deformation or deflection. It means when material resists to deflect or deformation, that property that is known as the stiffness or rigidity. That stiffness or rigidity. So already we have to study in the rigid length. So that rigidity it not deforms. Okay. So resistance of the material to elastic deformation or deflection. It means material itself resist. It means it oppose to deflect or deform is called the stiffness or rigidity. Another point, a material which suffers slight deformation under load has a high degree of stiffness or rigidity. Somewhere some material it may be a suffers from the slight deformation. It means it not up to the level resist the deflection, but somewhat deformation it may be done under the load. That deformation it may be done that has a high degree of stiffness or rigidity. Okay, so here one of the best example that steel beam is more stiffer or more rigid than the aluminum beams, that you can identify easily understand. Steel beam, whenever you have to apply a load on a steel beam, it may be not deform, that material resists the deformation, while the aluminum beam it may be a easily deform. Clear? So steel, that material that you always remember, steel have a higher stiffer than the another material. It may be from the rubber also. Clear? That is a very important example that you have to remember. I will ask in a MCQ also. Ductility. It is the property of a material which enables it to draw out into the thin wires. That you can know that you have to prepare a wire or pipe. So at that time, how you can prepare a wire or pipe, that kind of the devices, that kind of the equipment, that is with the help of the ductility properties. If material have a ductility properties, then and then it is possible to produce a wire or pipes or number of in a larger cross section parts. So ductility, what do you mean by ductility? That is very easily to understand. So it is the property of a material which enables it to drawn out into the thin wires. Material properties which easily gives permission to material to drawn into a wires. It means to become a wire, to form a wire or in the hollow section or in the form of the pipe. Example, mild steel is a ductile material. That one another point that you have to remember. Mild steel is a ductile material, so it may be easily drawn into the wire or it may be into the pipes. The percent elongations and reduction. Percent elongation and reduction in the area and tension is often used empirical measures of the ductility. So point that you have to remember, the percent elongation and reduction in area. Elongation it means extensions and reduction in area. For example, you have any cross sectional component or a material which have a LBH. So if you applied a load on the upper side, what happens? The thickness it may be decreasing and length it may be increasing. So here the point is given over there, the percent of elongation and reduction in area. It means elongation length it may be increasing and area it may be reducing. In area in tension is often used as an empirical measure of the ductility. That point given over here, that is a starting point or end point. Two figure is given over here, and another in a blue right side, that figure is given that that you can see that copper bar is pulled through the die. That black portion, that is a die. Blue, that is a outer portion is given. Black, that is a die, and gray part, that is nothing but our material that may be pulled outside and we can pull that material that converted into the form of the wire, or it may be in the form of the pipe. Okay, clear? So another point that in the figure that you can identify the ductility test. So in ductility test, what you have to identify, there are the black portion, that is our material, and in a blue, that is one fixed, and another point, it may be movable. So in the 2 points there are material is fixed. So movable points, it may be move and it may be extend the material, but that you can identify, that may be very smaller area that we can find out in the bottom figure. So in that bottom figure, that we can identify a material have a ability to, it may be drawn. So at that point we have to elongate the material. Clear? Next definition. Malleability, that is also one of the very important definitions, that you can see that the example is given over here. A metal hammer into thin sheets, or gold is the most malleable, that point is given. Gold is the most malleable metal. Okay, that also you have to remember this point. Gold is the most malleable metal. Malleability, that where it may be useful, that you can see that the different roofs that are roofs are made from the it may be cement concrete, or it may be from a metal okay, roofs that we have to use in the village, that cover the house. Okay, so that is the iron sheet, that is also known as the iron sheet. Malleability of the material is its ability to be flattened into thin sheets without cracking by hot or cold working. Okay, it means to flatten into thin sheets. It means whenever we have to given a load, the material have a ability to be become a flat. It may become a flat without hot or cold working conditions. Without, and another point is given that without cracking. So there may be no crack. It may be easily malleable. It may be extend. For example, we can say it in Gujarati, patru બનાવવું, છાપરું, બરાબર ને? So with the help of these malleability properties, we can produce a iron sheet. Okay, that without cracking or by hot or cold working. Hot or cold working, it is nothing but it is a two manufacturing point that you have to study in the next semester. That there are the working processes. In hot working process, we have to heat the metal and then give to load. In a cold working metal, that at the room temperature we have to make the our processes. So example, lead can be radially roll and hammer into thin sheets, but can be drawn into wires. Okay, lead, that point is given over here. Lead can be radially roll and hammer. It may be, we can also it may be roll, or it may be applying the hammering force into thin sheets, but can be drawn into wire. It may be drawn into wires. That is the malleability. Okay, so malleability of a material is its ability to be flattened into thin sheets without cracking by hot or cold working method. Remember, this is also very important definitions. So that the as we can study in the ductility and malleability, this is the same way. Because of that reason only, that comparison is given over here. Comparison of ductility and malleability. So ductility and malleability are frequently used interchangeably many times. Sometimes we can use a ductile material in ductility process or malleability, or it may be we can say interchangeably we have to use the material. So and so we can say that it is a ductility done on that material, or it may be malleability done on that particular materials. So ductility is a tensile quality, while the malleability is a compressive quality. That point is, remember what we have to done in the ductility, we have to pull it, while in the malleability we have to apply the hammering. Because of the hammering, what happens, it may be reducing the thickness or increasing the length. Clear or not? Both are the same phenomenon, but it may be in the different condition. But while in the ductility, it may be tensile quality. It means to increase the length, what we have to done, we have to given a tensile load. While in the malleability, to increase the load, what we have to done, we have to given the compressive. So it is the tensile quality, or it may be a compressive quality. It is a very important point. It may be asked number of times in the examination in the terms of the MCQ. Please remember. Resilience, one another important definitions. it is the capacity of a material to absorb energy elastically. Now the material, it may be a absorb capacity, that in the first figure that you can see over here, resilience, on the spring there the board, on the board there may be one block. So one block, it may be a apply on that particular board. So what happens, spring, it may be absorb some energy, that we can see. Very important part. Okay. The maximum energy, the definition of the resilience, it may be given in the figure, that you have to remember. It is the property of a material to absorb energy and to resist shock and impact loads. Clear? This is the definition that you have to remember. It is the property of the material to absorb energy and to resist shock and impact loads. So whenever in the first figure, nearby that figure is given on the resilience, absorb the energy and to resist shock and impact loads. Spring, what works of the spring, that whatever the impact by the load, it may be easily absorbed, but it resists the shock and loads. Clear? So it is the property of material to absorb the energy but resist impact loads and shocks. It is measured by amount of energy absorbed per unit volume within an elastic limit. Clear? So this is the very, very important part, how it may be measured. It may be measured in the terms of amount of energy absorbed per unit volume within the elastic limits. This property is essential for spring materials. So always remember the example of the materials which have a resilience definitely, that is a spring material. It may be required in a resilience, it may be required in a spring materials. That is a very important part. Now as per the PPTs, the maximum energy which can be stored in a body up to elastic limit is called the proof resilience. This is the important part. So what do you mean by proof resilience? The maximum energy, the material have a capacity to absorb maximum energy up to elastic limit. Elastic limit, it means what? At which we can remove the load, it may be gain its original position. So at that time, whatever the energy it may be stored by a material, that energy, it may be at that time we can say that is a proof resilience. That capacity of the material, that is a proof resilience. Once again, the maximum energy which can be stored in a body up to a elastic limit. It means when elastic limit, that you have to know, when we have to given a load to a material, at that time because of the load there may be change of the shape of the material, and when we have to remove the load, the material regain its original condition. So at that time when it may be deformed, that is a, and after elastic limit it may be a plasticity. So elastic limit, up to the elastic limit, whatever the maximum energy stored by the body, that is known as the proof resilience, and the proof resilience per unit volume is called the modulus of resilience. Per unit volume, it means per unit volume, it means 1 by 1 by 1. It means one volume is volume contains the LBH. Okay, so for example, 1 meter cubes, whatever the energy stored by any material in a per unit volume, it means for example energy per meter cube, that is known as the modulus of resilience. So these are the definitions that you have to remember. The quantity gives the capacity of the material to bear shocks and vibrations. Okay, this kind of the property that gives the material ability to bear the shocks and vibrations. Okay. Now after the resilience, another definition, that is a hardness. Hardness is a fundamental properties which is closely related to a strength. Somewhat it is related to a strength, but what is the difference that we have to study over here, that you can easily understand by the figure that we have to study. Hardness is usually defined in terms of the ability of a material to resist scratching, abrasions, cutting, indentions or penetrations. So these are the four terms. There is a very importance, that ability of this material to resist it. Okay, in the hardness, that is nothing but ability of the material to resist scratching. It means first figure that is given by two hands, one of the man that scratch it. Okay, that is a ability to resist scratching, And abrasion, it may be say that in the number of figure there are the stones. On the stones there are we can say the one person, it may be pull a metals, that is a abrasion. Cutting, it may be divide a part into two parts. Idents or penetrations. Penetration, it may be continuously moving continuously applying the load. Penetration, penetrate by hammering. So resist these four condition. Which material resists these four things? It is a hardened material. So method used for determining the hardness, that is a Brinell or Rockwell's or Vickers. So these are the three different methods with the help of which we can identify the hardness of a particular materials. So this is nothing but, this is also we can say that is a hardness measuring equipment, that is a Brinell hardness measuring equipment, Rockwell hardness testing or Vickers hardness testing. Okay, hardness is very simple definition. It is related to a strength, but in the strength what we have to study, it resists the destruction without failure. Clear or not? So we have to see that at the time. Two example, there are the to move the to break the pen, and another example, there are the two person, they are pulling the board. Okay, so from that you can remember strength, but hardness, it's somewhat similar, but it may be resist the four main things, that abrasions, then scratching, cutting or penetration. Okay, now a brittleness. Same way ductility, it may be opposite definition, that is a brittleness. Always remember, it is a property of a breaking without much permanent distortions. That you can see over that brittleness in the right hand side above my photos. The one figure is given, that ductile and brittle material fractures. Ductile and brittle fractures, that you can see that in the ductile there may be a slowly, there may be a at the center area it may be decreasing, while in the brittle fracture they may be completely without decreasing the area, they may be failed. Clear? In the ductile failure, what we have to identify, we have to identify in the ductile failure the material at the center, it may be slowly it may be decreasing the area. Then at the end, when very smaller area it may be becomes, at the time it may be breaks, while in the brittle materials without decreasing the area it may be breaks. So there are the definition that we have to study over here. It is the property of the breaking without much permanent distortions. It means there are no distortion it may be done, but directly material fail without much permanent distortion. This is the brittleness. Non-ductile material is considered to be brittle material. Same things. The material which are not brittle, the material which are not ductile, that are considered as a brittle material. For example, given over here, a glass and cast iron. That is also very important for the MCQ point, that you have to remember. Cast iron is a based brittle material, while the ductile is mild steel. Okay, remember, most stiffer is steel. Okay, that all the point that you have to remember. Now another definition, that is a creep. This is also very important definition for the exam point of view. The slow and progressive deformation of a material with time at constant stress is called a creep. Slow and progressive. Slow and progressive, it means what? Slow, it means slowly by at the time it may be pass slowly, and progressive step by step it may be deformation, it may be increasing. Slow and progressive deformation of a material with a time, at the time is pass out, it may be deformation, it may be done at constant stress. So there are the number of example that given over here, that you can see where the simple example is given over here, that depending on the temperature, stresses even below the elastic limit can cause some permanent deformations. It means that given that one component is given over here, there are the constant component that you can identify over here, that constant applied force. Okay, and that component may be in which condition? It may be in a heating conditions. So constant applying the force, then what happens? The load are continuously given. So at the center portion, the rate point is given, that is rate point is given. So rate point, that what it indicates? It indicates in the starting that dot are very smaller one, but slowly it increase its area, and it may be increase the area, it may be progressive. Slow and progressive deformation of the material with times, not instantly but after some times this failure it may be done. So creep, it is nothing but it is a slow and progressive deformation of a material with time at constant stress, when the constant applied force are continuously constant. At that time sometimes it may be we can decreasing the force, then it may be stops, but it may be remember it is a slow and progressive deformation of a material within a time at constant stress is called the creep. Okay, depending on the temperature, stress even below the elastic limit can cause some permanent deformations. Clear? So at the temperature stress, it may be uh, below the elastic limit. Sometimes below the elastic limit, not upper the elastic limit. Below the elastic limit, it may be produce a permanent deformation. It is not necessary that always it may be require a plastic deformation, because that we know that elastic deformation, that is nothing but after removing the load it may be a gain its original position. So somewhat it may be possible before a elastic deformation it may be a fail or it may be deformed. It is most generally defined as time dependent strain occurring under stress. Time dependent strain occurring under stress. Strain it means what? There may be change in the length. Because of which reason? Because at the time is gone, at the time is pass out, it means time is increasing, there may be change in the length and occurring under a stress. So stress, it is nothing but a force per area. So this is the, remember, it is a very important definitions. So last definition, that is a fatigue. This phenomenon leads to fracture under repeated or fluctuating stresses. So very important, these phenomenons that leads to fracture. Fracture, it may be a completely divided in a two parts. Leads to fracture under a repeated or fluctuating stress, when we have to given a continuously repeated load, or we can say that a fluctuating load. At that time whatever the fracture are produced, that fracture is nothing but a fatigue. The phenomenon leads to a fracture under a repeated or a fluctuating stresses. The fatigue fracture are progressive, beginning as a minute crack and grow under action of the fluctuating stresses. Okay, fluctuating fracture are progressive. Progressive beginning. It means from the starting it may be progressing, because as we can say that small dot or small crack are introduced in the material. Then because of the load fluctuating or repeated, there are crack, it may be propagated, it may be extended, that is a grow under the action of the fluctuating stresses. Clear? So that is nothing but fatigue fracture are progressive at the beginning. In the starting, from the starting it is a progressive. As we can applying the fluctuating load, that may be that crack, it may be groans, and that becomes a failure. Clear? So many components of the high speed aero or turbine engines are of these types. So at the number of places the turbine engine or high speed aero engine that are made by using this kind of the materials. So here we study about the different engineering materials. So always remember there is a vast importance of this material studying, or that characteristics of the material it may be studied. So you have to remember this all the definitions. It may be asked Tuesday I have to generate one we can say that what I generate one questionnaire or one MCQ test in which I have to ask all these things. So you have to remember that all the 3 lectures that we have to study up to here. Okay, thank you.